Hi Leo, this is your June 2025 soul story. If you have a sun rising or moon in the sign, it's your reading. This is Romy. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. We are going to open up for you this month with the energy of the Three of Pentacles. There is progress coming for you this month, and what I want to say is an awful lot of glimmers, a glimmer of hope, of opportunity, of validation that you are on the right track. And it is absolutely about the people that are around you through the course of this month, right? We're in 11th house through Taurus season, and so you're going to be reflecting deeply on the relationships that you have by way of your friendships and the communities that you're a part of. People are wanting to step up and show their support or demonstrate that they understand where you're at. You may have felt recently quite misunderstood, and whilst that's always an opportunity for self-reflection, and you may have taken some of that away to really learn about yourself, and you've kind of come out of the other side, but at the same time, we're no longer in a place where we want to tie ourselves in knots. And I think what you are set to see in the month of June, because there is more harmony and more flow than you might have experienced for some time. And so with that, people are stepping up and wanting to demonstrate to you their loyalty or their intention. And don't get me wrong, it might be that there's also some situations that arise that make it incredibly clear to you where it's time to move on or to withdraw your investment, your energy, your commitment. This is a month where it's about all of the feels. Now we've got Venus shifting into Taurus on the 5th, this beautiful nurturing, nourishing energy. Venus loves to be in Taurus, and so there's something that kind of helps you to look at the positives of a situation that might have really put you through the ringer a little bit, right? But it's almost just like it gives you the gift of noticing, okay? Noticing where you are, what you have, what you know, what you're still capable of learning, experiencing, and achieving. I love these threes coming in for you because they just talk to me about expansion, and they talk to me about your willingness to embrace things that are coming online for you. And there may have been some new habits and new things that have felt quite hard, but it's only because you'd never done them before, not because you weren't capable. And you're going to really find your feet and find your rhythm in the month of June. So things that have felt like they've been really tough to show up for, maybe your motivation was waxing and waning, maybe you were lacking some trust or had some doubts about the direction of things. There's a lot more inspiration coming in, and there's just more confidence that feels like it's also showing up, okay? 11th house also reminds you of what is the big dream, and what is it that you need to hear about the dream that you have. What is it that's going to make you return to a place of belief or passion or motivation? Really think about that, because there may have been some things that have occurred that have sort of knocked you a little bit, and maybe you're on your way towards something, or maybe you haven't even begun because it's felt so out of reach. What is it that you would need to hear? And as you get really sort of clear on that, I think it creates a pathway for things to start to show up to provide those glimmers of hope and the realization that actually you're moving towards this in ways that perhaps you hadn't expected, and maybe now you're perceiving things a little bit differently in this month, okay? Now the big news, of course, is Jupiter is shifting out of Gemini and into Cancer. Exalted in this placement, there is an ease, and we move from a sort of thinking to feeling place. But we understand Cancer is also a cardinal energy, and so there is a need to take action with regards to this. So as the movement happens in your 11th house, you're also going to be really thinking about, because there's a lot of expansion to come in that area, particularly the way that you utilize technology. You might go through a real revamp in regards to how social media is a part of your life or your business, or what it is that you do, the people that you connect to, and how you connect. Your Knight of Cups here is super interesting because I think something is presented through the course of this month to you, and it feels like it's coming online around about that 9th, 10th, and sort of building up to the full moon in Sagittarius on the 11th, okay? What I'm going to say to you about this is, there's a lot more that needs to bring it into a place of having a solid enough foundation for you to be able to really build on. But what it does demonstrate is intention and possibility. And I think that you can work with that, because the difference that you're seeing, and I believe that this offer or what comes through to you is from a known source, okay? It doesn't feel like it's coming out of the blue. So in whatever area this is showing up, Leo, it feels to me that we've got a scenario where you're like, okay, I hear you, that sounds good. I feel like I want to be in on this. I want to, be a part of this. I want to, take you at face value, but I also need to see more. And I think that's just a bringing a kind of, a reality check and a groundedness to the situation that is needed. And it's also going to be something that will help in some ways protect you a little bit. Not because I sense that, this is not something worth pursuing or being open to, but I think based on previous experience, you also just need, to keep a more sort of temperate approach, right? We just want to maintain our own balance. You have your plans, and it may be that things that come up are making you rethink. And what we don't want is for you to deviate too far away from your path. But like I said, I think that Knight of Cups is holding something really interesting. So be open to the proposal. Keep the lines of communication open. Now that full moon in Sagittarius is also, for you, we've got energy of 10 of Cups here, is also really making you think about times where things felt right, okay, in your world. When it felt right, when you felt the best that you felt in your body, when you felt the best that you felt in your friendships, when you felt the best that you could be in the work that you were doing. And it's a reminder of what that energy felt like, and kind of the build up to that, what was going on, what was happening, and perhaps what has interfered with that, because there's a release point here that we want to have happen for that full moon, to harness it and work with it. And Sagittarius wants to expand your horizon and get you back on track to believing in what's possible, but also aligning what with your higher wisdom and your spiritual path, your spiritual journey. So there's something that's interfering and has been through the course of this year that really kicked off toward the end of 2024, that has gotten in the way of you being able to feel and experience that sense of rightness and alignment in your world. So that's going to be a really interesting one to reflect upon, and I think it will make itself super clear. And I do think you're going to make quite an important choice and decision. The other thing that I think is really beautiful about what June is affording is that there's time to relax in a way that is more deeply than you have, again, for some time. And perhaps you didn't realize actually how much you needed that. And maybe it's because you're just going to give yourself that permission. You're going to say no to something, or maybe you're going to let something go. And all of a sudden you just have a little bit more time, a little bit more space, a little bit more room to breathe. And that sense of being able to relax and your body actually really feeling it is also going to be incredibly important as you consider what some of the offer proposals or the things that have been discussed with you really mean for you, not just in the here and the now, but actually down the line. And that 10 of Cups is also, again, the reminder of what's the big dream, what's the vision, what's the thing right now in your life that's going to make you happy. And we know not one thing in its own right can be, enough, but there are certain priorities that we want you to return to. And June is kind of holding space for that reality to happen, okay? Now, let's talk about what happens mid-month, because there is a little bit of a, what I want to say, a critical point, you know, maybe a little bit of a speed bump that we feel coming online. We have Mars in your sign, having quite a tense conversation with Uranus on the 15th, right? And what comes out of that is this sense of stability and security versus the desire for freedom. On the same day, we've got Jupiter, newly in Cancer, squaring Saturn, newly in Aries. Now, how I want to also position this to you is that the Mars and Uranus conversation feels like something old that's just come back to light again. Okay, so something that you've been dealing with over the last few weeks and months. It's known to you, it's understood by you. It's kind of like, okay, here we are again. But the Jupiter and the Saturn conversation is new. It's bringing something else into the mix. Now, as I said, a critical point. Now, we've got the Eight of Cups here. Should I stay? Should I go? You know, am I ready to move on? Am I ready to give up? Am I ready to let go? To what degree do I feel the pressure of that? Or is there something or someone departing from my life, you know, or creating a change and a catalyst for me? Now, regardless, it's going to feel perhaps a little bit uncomfortable and maybe present one or two challenges that need to be thought through more carefully, and have a bit more time, I think, for you to feel measured in what your response is. The challenge, of course, with Mars in your sign is you might feel a little bit impulsive, and energies could feel a bit erratic with that Uranus energy, you know, kind of layered with it. It also means that something could come out the blue a little bit, all right? And so not only do we have something that was old, we've got a new thing that's coming online, and also sort of making it feel like it's going to almost encroach on another area of our life. That's kind of how I see it happening. But let's put this into perspective, okay? This is happening mid-month, and it's like, as I said, the speed bump. This doesn't derail you. It just presents, as life does, this opportunity to stop and to just go, okay, like I've got a chance now to really show myself how much I've changed, how much I've grown, and not to freak out, frankly. This is what I really want to say to you. Like, don't freak out. You know, everything is okay. Everything is where it needs to be. And as I said, the glimmer is coming in. So follow your plans, not your mood, because your emotions are going to be in flux and they're going to change. Now, as we come out of that energy, Mars shifts into Virgo on the 17th. And we're going to make our way towards Cancer season, with solstice arriving on the 20th. Something quite beautiful coming in for you around that time. Actually, support, again, you do feel like through the course of June that, you know, people, the right people, the people you're supposed to be connected to, are showing up in some really extraordinary ways for you. And those that are not are probably making it easier for you to make the decision to move on or to just redirect. It's not necessarily like it has to be a big, you know, heartbreak, this is over, I'm never going to talk to you again. It just feels like, okay, we need some time, we need some space. We do have a slightly uncomfortable energy with Jupiter and Neptune on the 18th, okay? And I do want to say that something might just feel a little bit confusing around that time. Trust in your gut, okay? Trust in your gut with regards to that, and you're not going to go wrong. So there's a little bit of a reevaluation energy that comes in, but actually, even whatever happens mid-month with some of those challenges end up putting you in a better place. It's like you all of a sudden have like more time, more resource, more space, and more people that are able to step up. You know, sometimes we have to let go of old energy, and then the right things that are supposed to be part of our path have the opportunity to flow in. And that's what I'm really sensing for you in this month of June, Leo. Now, in Cancer energy, from solstice and right up to that new moon in Cancer on the 25th, right, we are, of course, then into your 12th house. So there's some things happening behind the scenes for you that feel actually quite exciting. You know, there is a requirement for you to sort of balance out in your own self what it is that you're going to have to come to terms with, you know, from a kind of healing perspective, but also, right, if I'm going to do this, because there's something that's going to be brewing. There's something that's really on your mind, and it's going to come into its own, of course, in your solar returns, Leo. But, you know, if that's the case, you know that you kind of can't carry this dead weight. You can't bring this with you, whether it's a limiting belief or an aspect of sabotage or imposter syndrome, or, you know, not being able to get over somebody or not being able to let go of something. So there is an ask here, but you're doing the work. I absolutely see it. And there's something around the conversations that take place, not only with yourself, but again with the groups, the networks, the sort of healing collective energy that's working with you, that seems to absolutely support this sort of transcendent moment that you have right ahead of, you know, you shifting into you know, Leo season next month. So it's powerful, actually, you know. So coming in towards the end of the month, this harmony and flow is felt by you in a really significant way. And it translates, by the way, in very practical ways as well. So what you also might notice, Leo, is that all of a sudden, you know, things don't feel as like difficult as what you'd first thought they were going to. You know, sometimes when we kind of look at something and it's almost like the mind can't see the full truth. You know, it's like when you lose your keys and they're right in front of you, but you just can't see them. And particularly if you've got some challenges around abundance, you know, or feeling like there's not enough of something, it almost feels like the difference between the beginning of the month and the end of the month, it's like, wow, I don't know, I'm looking at the same set of information or you know, data or whatever it is, and all of a sudden, like, I see it totally, you know, in a new light, in a new way. Again, these glimmers of just like opportunity and of more coming online. And I think that you will feel that sort of cosmic boost, if you like, in a way that again helps support the confidence that you need to take some of the important steps that are about to happen. Okay. If you have felt misunderstood, there's a resolution that feels like it's coming in quite a big way for you as well through the course of this month, all right? So if you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards we look at in the extended reading, you'll find the link in the comment section below, Leo. We'll talk for another 25 minutes or so. We're going to look at a personal and a relationship card for you as well. So hope you'll join me. It's a way to support the channel and get a deeper insight into the month. I'm going to go ahead and just clarify these cards as well and see the direction that we're going to be taking this for you. We've got energy 6 of Cups and the Page of Cups. Now please, if you're new to the channel, do check out my website, romywiser.com. Link is below. Nice having another 6 pentacles in there. You're going to find my sacred titles, right? So the products that I've created to support you on your journey. You're going to find my oracle deck, my journal and my book. You'll also find my reports, my new astrocartography that's just come online, my goddess and angel reports, as well as ways to work with me. If you're after a personal reading, you can find all of the offers available. My sacred soul support. I mean, there is just so much over there, so please take a moment to check it out. Okay, all the decks as well are always listed below. Okay. Right, let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle. What is that bringing to the party this month for you, Leo? What do we have? Karmic cause and effect. We've got the Queen of Air, light language. We have Soul Star energy. We've got Third Eye energy. All the queens this month. Queen of Fire. Casting out constellations. This is the way. This is the work. Okay. And then we're just going to pull a couple of oracles for you as well. So the month of June. What do we have for Leo, please? Healing waters. Love that for you. And then finally, we've got exuberance, the roaring 20s in Paris. Okay, we're going to explore these in your extended. I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for tuning into the channel. I'm going to see you again next time. Have a great month ahead. Take good care. Bye for now.